Hello, everyone, and welcome to another incredible and I hope to super impactful, powerful episode of Empowered Conversations, where I have amazing conversations with extraordinary people who are out in the world doing beautiful things in service to others and all around living their best lives. And let me tell you, that is my guest, Sandy Clemons, today, y'all. Sandy has got like a plethora, a diverse background of fabulousness. She is the original dummy in the For Dummies book series. She met Dan Gookin, the original author and founder of the first book, DOS for Dummies, in the gym. Boy, do I know what that's like. She started dating and married Dan within a year. Sandy was the test dummy for DOS for Dummies and ended up writing several computer titles that included the Computer Illustrated Dictionary for Dummies and so many more. Her famous, still on the market title is Parenting for Dummies. Oh my God, I bet that's hilarious. Which was listed as one of the top selling parenting books in the nation. It has been translated into 34 languages. In 2002, Sandy also started an entertainment company where she trained actors, models, and singers and took them to LA and New York to get signed. Whoops, sorry, I lost my place. Uh, with agents and managers. Sorry about that, guys. Her background in acting and a classically trained pianist helped her to understand how hard it was to get into the acting modeling industry. So she took it upon herself to start a company that taught people the entertainment industry and helped them put the tools together needed to book the jobs. Sandy is a professional musician, singer, actor, model, photographer, makeup artist, and director. And she teaches people the importance of cancer prevention. Yes, she likes to stay busy. So do I, girl. So on this next episode of Empowered Conversations, we will be discussing, most importantly, the huge importance of all things health and wellness and how that is and can be a huge factor in cancer prevention, as well as her own personal journey to being the healthiest version of herself through making conscious and intentional choices every single day of how to fuel and treat her body with the kindness and love it so deserves. Sandy lives in the mountains of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, with her husband David, where they also own a bed and breakfast. We have got like so many commonalities here. I run an Airbnb out of my home too. Everybody, woo! Help me in welcoming, drum roll please, Sandy Clemons.
Yeah! Just your introduction alone was awesome. You should do that again. I love it.
All right, I will take you out. I'll take you out and bring you back. Oh my
Awesome.
God.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you here today. I'm so excited. You know, talking about what we're going to be talking about today is like literally one of my most favorite subjects. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm hypnotized by being healthy, living healthy, being intentional, not just with this, but everything in life.
I know.
And
And here,
I
I'll be
love,
here.
thank you, because it's here. It's here. I'm pointing to my heart.
Yeah,
It's everything. It's
it is.
everything.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, I'm just going to jump right in. Sandy, I mean, you have an incredible, very diverse, super amazing, fabulous background. Holy for Rick and cow. Next thing is President of the United States.
I'm
I don't
glad
know.
for that. If I didn't have such my emotions on my sleeve, because the first time someone said something about it, I go, no, it's on my past. Stop it.
You're so
That's me
hilarious.
as president.
You got my vote.
Okay, good. There's one. There's one.
Hell
My
yeah.
mom. Yeah.
Oh my, that's two. So, I want to know your story because, like, we mentioned cancer prevention. and with, you know,
Yeah.
in this small, but that's why you're here today, guys. That's why she's here today. I was a part of a Zoom call with a mutual friend, Jeff Arborough, that I was invited to. And that's how I met Sandy. And just listening, like, it's almost like I was talking. It's like just, I could hear her words through the screen about cancer prevention and what she's doing and all the stuff that you have to pay attention to and be aware of. Please tell my audience a little bit about your journey and what started you on, being intentional with this way of life.
So a long time ago, my dad had three types of cancers, and my grandmother had cancer. And as you start wondering, what I've learned with cancer is that people don't actually talk about, but why?
Mhm.
Why do you get it? And unfortunately, if you go to cancer.org, 94 to 96% of cancers are preventable. And that's where people kind of get upset because someone died of cancer. I had cancer and I didn't do anything wrong. Well, my grandmother lived on a farm in Oklahoma. I'm an Oklahoma farm girl, raising the horses and milking the goats and that stuff. And she grew her own beef and grew her own vegetables, but she raised exotic birds. And exotic bird feces is really, really toxic. She had no idea that being in the room with all the toxic would give her lung cancer. Her passion gave her lung cancer. She didn't smoke, she didn't drink, and the only time that she said anything nasty was when she was chewing out my grandpa, and she said it in Cherokee. So
Love it,
that
girl.
that was her problem. My dad grew up in the Depression. My dad's 86. So my grandmother, I will say, ended up dying of cancer. And that journey and watching her, and I'm a pianist and we sit around. I remember the last Christmas of her sitting there and us playing and me playing the piano, knowing this would be the last time we all sang together. It was so emotional because she wasn't making it. My parents and everyone decided to do juice therapy for her. We took her to
Mhm.
Mexico. It was getting rid of the cancer, was also getting rid of her heart valve. They lost all their land, all their money. All my aunts and uncles poured every dime, and I watched everybody come broke. All these landowners losing it to pay cash for juice therapy. My
I
dad
have a
ended up.
question. I just want to stop you real quick, talking about this juice therapy because I remember learning in Food Matters, which is one of the most impactful, biggest, and most amazing documentaries about health and wellness I've ever watched in my life. And they were talking about how they were infiltrating IV therapy with vitamin C and curing cancer in the 30s. And
Yeah,
so, what the juice therapy was doing was bringing her body to an alkaline state in which in an alkaline state, cancer, bacteria, and viruses cannot exist. But also, when you're talking about her heart valve, so it was in essence curing the cancer, but then it was, the heart valve was a foreign object within the body. So if you want
yeah.
to, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of the things, like, here's a water molecule, right here.
Hmm.
And when you drink water, all of these sides of the water molecule pull the toxins from your body. That's why you drink plain water, is to pull the toxin. It gets attached and it's pulling it. That's why, like, wet vacuums now are popular. It's pulling the dirt out. Have you ever seen those?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Juice therapy, like, our bodies were designed to have it heal itself. Our bodies were not designed to be sick.
Hmm.
And fruits and vegetables are so high in flushing out things that are not supposed to be there, including cancer cells. That's why pure juice is not like the Minute Maid orange juice full of sugar, not that. But if you take a really good juicer, and if you Google, there's some top juicers that truly keep it in there, and drink those. And there's a book called Juicing for Life that you can look up, like kidney issues, gallstones issues, cancer. How do you prevent cancer? And what you can
Hmm.
put together that really work, and the nutrition in your body to help literally pull everything out that you're not supposed to have. And then that's another why they do coffee enemas, is to help stimulate the bowels to pull all the toxins out.
Hmm. Hmm.
And just the vitamin E, pulling that stuff out. Well, when it pulls it out, it pulls out all the things you're not supposed to have in there, including her heart valve. It was literally detaching her heart valve and it stopped working. So they
Right.
had the decision, cancer, but it's killing her heart. So they had to make the decision to stop it, and it all came back and she ended up passing.
Gotcha. Did
So
she
that
ever do any type of chemotherapy?
no.
Okay. Um, and again, guys, we're not making claims. We're not making claims. We're protecting ourselves here. But chemotherapy, and I'm going to talk about an experience I had. I used to work for an IV tubing company, and they sold they sold the connectors that went on the IV tubing. They didn't sell necessarily IV tubing, but it was more about the connectors.
Right.
So when I worked for this medical device company, I sold as well into the oncology centers a specific connector that when you lure on, it's called lure on, when you're putting on the connector onto a syringe, or putting it onto an IV. What happens is, whenever you are administering the cytotoxic, and that's what it's considered, a cytotoxic drug into the IV or the syringe, when you are luring on, luring off, there is not an ounce, not an eighth millimeter of a 16th of an ounce of exposure to that physical cytotoxic chemotherapy drug, because any exposure, like if you breathe at the healthcare worker or the patient, any exposure to that can cause cancer, birth defects. I was in oncology centers where they, a woman or a man, one of the nurses is it's called under the hood, and it's a vacuum. It's a continuous vacuum of air being pulled out of the space that she's mixing. When I say she, because it was always a female that was in there doing it. To mixing the specific amount of drug that was going to be then administered to the chemotherapy patient on the floor. And again, the hood, the whole mixture process is so she is not, and she's got specific PPE. It is extensive to where she's not exposed. So, and this is my question: why are we administering something into the bloodstream to kill cancer, which
Yeah.
that causes even the minusculest amount of exposure to it, cancer, birth defects, all kinds of stuff? I started to go, something's not right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that, a lot of people tell you cancer is a very prosperous and financially great industry to be involved in. Why would we want to end that? And I know that sounds political and all kinds of stuff. I don't want to go there, but I do know cancer treatments, the chemo, the concept is you kill off the cancer cells by bringing you on the brink of death. And so Dan Gookin, my ex-husband, is still a dear friend of mine, and he went through tongue cancer. And I was in there learning how to do his feeding tubes and helping him with that, and seeing that he would rather have died than continued on. I've never seen him so sick, and it was awful. And that's why they chose the juice therapy, going, we know our bodies are designed. I'm a farm girl. There's I know what nutrition is supposed to be in our fruits and vegetables, and I know what it is now. In fact, if you remember, I said that it would take 80 bowls of spinach to equal 1 bowl of spinach from 50 years ago. Now, that lack of nutrition is affecting our cells. And so this is why part of my whole thing is we think we're doing the right things. Just like I'm sure somewhere along the line, somebody thought that was a great idea. And somebody said, yeah, let's try it. What do we got to lose? All these lives. But, we save one person, and when it all works out. The journey, though, from what I was going through with my grandmother, I ended up going through with my dad, who did end up with some of the radiation is what they did for him. But my mom balanced it with a tremendous amount of healthy things. I have a supplement line that I use because of the absorption rate, mass amounts of things that we know that help keep the body going, as opposed to let's bring it to death. And he got in with a really good, they even helped him with grants to help pay for him. You guys talk about the industry. One of his shots was $16,000 a shot. The other shot was $11,000 a shot. And if they had not been in the right place, insurance only covers so much. But this medical facility actually wrote grants to help my dad pay for this stuff. My parents pay for this. Who does that, right?
Right.
But it was prostate cancer. It was skin cancer, he's bone cancer, and he's alive and kicking now. All of that has affected him in some pretty awful deteriorating ways. And so, like I have told you, Stephanie, there's a lot of things out there that are scary. Strep throat's scary, you guys, right? We talk about COVID. I'm not worried about those things because I work so hard on keeping my immune system strong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about cancer because it's our cells breaking down we cannot see, right? So it's so much more than just your immune system, but people don't realize that. What am I doing that's breaking down my immune system? So people say, well, I eat healthy. Yeah, you think there's nutrition in that food? I mean, really? I mean, this is why your cookbook is so important. It's about
Yeah.
every strong amount of nutrition because you're, like I explained to you guys. So here's kind of the simple instruction of what we have to work on. Free radicals are when your cells are breaking apart, right? So get some sleep. Don't
Mm-hmm.
watch your phone and TV an hour before you go to bed because it takes your brain an hour longer to fall asleep. Sleep is the best thing for recovery of your body, the best thing. Say no to something else so you can say yes to sleep.
Love it.
Say no to something else so you can say yes to sleep. Say no to something else so you drink more water.
Yes.
Those are some common things that we know that really kind of break your cells down. But then you think about the stuff that they're advertising on TV that's good for you, like bleach is the only thing that kills germs. That's bullshit. I hope I can say that. That's bullshit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is an adult podcast.
Fucktard decided that was a good idea. You know, I mean, seriously, your baby girls through bleach, they have third-degree burns. And you're going to bring this in. Or Febreze. You know, Febreze is so toxic, it doesn't actually change the air. It changes the molecules in your nose so you don't smell it. What's that doing to you? So I am not a believer of any of those things. I believe in everything, like your hand soap, your dental floss. Why do you have to put formaldehyde on dental floss? All of those things. Now,
Mm-hmm.
part of this comes from the fact I had a health crisis for 3 years where I had 5 kidney surgeries. Why? Go back, go back, go back, go back. It's me. I don't drink enough water. I get so busy. Why? We're going to be really honest. I had 4 babies. The last 2 were 11 pounds. If I drink enough water, I hope I can make it to the bathroom in time. I'm not really going to. We're going to be honest, right? I own a bed and breakfast. I talk about people's bladders all the time.
Yeah, I love it.
But that kind of stopped me from drinking water because I'm going, God, I'm always going pee and I'm always going pee. And so I kind of slowed it down.
But your body's doing what it needs to do to completely continuously extricate that which you don't need.
Yeah. So what I have learned is that it takes 100 little things that we need to be aware of. What I teach is like women don't wear underwire bras. Now I have a new bra that's not underwire. I got a uniboob today. What is going on with my
Oh
boob?
my God, girl, I love it. Tell us about the uniboob.
Right? But it's big, so it's like it's covering, like I have to lift these up to fasten my belt. That's okay. Don't ever drink from a plastic water bottle. Ever, 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 ever.
And that's what I'm doing. Plastic, Trader Joe's.
Get rid of that because that plastic seeps in, especially if your water bottle gets hot. Don't ever wear a cell phone on your body, ever, ever, ever. In fact, there's electromagnetic covers for your phone because there's more electromagnetic
EMF.
rays in your phone than your microwave. And let me tell you guys, if you have a baby, do not ever give that baby your cell phone or a tablet to entertain them. Don't even go down that path. Give them a
Ooh,
spoon and a bucket. Let them do something.
guys, yeah, be in the dirt because of all the negative ions that positively charge the
Yeah.
body by being in the dirt. Oh my God, guys, are you listening? So this unibib, I gotta jump in real quick. I can't stand wearing bras either, and
Yeah.
I bought these these sticky pads
How
because
do they work?
girl, my nipples are so obnoxious. They're always like this, and I'm like, oh God, I've got to at least try and
First
cover them
one is
up.
like this for the day. This is what it's like.
Yeah, but I got them from God. I have like 2 different pair. One I think I got from Kohl's, and then I mean you can find them anywhere, but they just kind of stick on, so they yeah.
I
Other than
think
that, I
you
was like,
get those ones where you do this and you pull it up. But let's just be transparent. I'm a triple D. It takes a lot of strength to hold these girls up. It really
oh,
does. But,
girl.
yeah, Mama's got some stuff going on here.
So
My
tell
whole
them why. Tell them why. Underwire bras, etc. Tell them why
right.
that's causing.
So metals again. We need to balance our cells. Free radicals. What's making our cells freak out? Guys, Google this. Truck driver face.
Ooh,
And there's going to be a man with a truck driver face, and he's going to have one side of his face that's all broken up into free
oh, I've
radicals.
seen that. Yeah, I've
Right.
seen that.
And what it is he's been driving truck for 25 years. This side of his face has been in the sun, and I'm backwards here, you guys. So your left side. And you can see all the wrinkles, his eyes drooping down like this, and this one's all fine. And this is what free radical activity is. It's breaking your cells apart. Well, internally, when you break your cells apart, if you don't have enough antioxidants to fix the free radicals and it's off balance, so you have more free radicals than antioxidants. What are antioxidants? They're like green tea,
Mm-hmm.
vegetables, fruits, antioxidants. You have to have more antioxidants to calm the free radicals. The off balance of that is when your cells, it's called oxidative stress when it's off balance. That
Mm-hmm.
off balance means your cells never recover. Now, around your bra line, I'm doing this like you can see, but around your bra line, that cutting off of circulation, always pulling in, makes your cells freak out. That's where most cancers are on your bra line. So if you can handle this when you get home, take it off, throw it against the couch, do rocks across the room, whatever. But take it off and let all that area breathe. Now, I also work with a nonprofit in Spokane, Washington called Beyond Pink. We raise the money for thermal imaging. Here's your
Yes.
here's your to-do list, honeys. Write this down. Research thermal imaging in your area because it's going to detect your health all over. Farmers use thermal imaging to find the hot spots in fields. Did you know that 1 in 1,000 men get breast cancer? 1 in 1,000 men. Do you know? Here is something. You know what the most common plastic surgery is, Stephanie?
Gynecomastia.
Breast cancer reduction in men. Is that what that is?
Well, no, not breast cancer, but it's when a man has extra
Oh,
breast
yeah, yeah,
tissue like a woman.
yeah.
It's
I didn't mean to be breast cancer. I mean breast reduction in men.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Hmm.
why? Again, always ask why. Why?
Yes.
Why are more men having larger breasts? Well, a lot of men, a lot of people eat too much sugar, but those household chemicals are called hormone disruptors. So bleach
Hmm.
and tide and pneumonia are hormone disruptors that cause birth defects, that cause too much estrogen in men. This is why little girls at 9 years old are starting their periods and we get man boobs. Is because artificial estrogen like sugar. I mean, if this whole thing 2 years ago, if the officials got up and said, okay, everybody, this is what we're going to do. We have a pandemic. Everybody give up sugar.
Oh,
No more fast food. Go to bed. Take your cell phone off. Lots of vitamin D that absorbs, lots of vitamin C. Go outside and get some exercise, but literally give up sugar. Give up sugar. You know, people would be burning their homes down before they did that.
absolutely. No,
Really,
and people are so resistant. Like, one of my good friends, she was doing a podcast and she was reading a quote. So many people don't have the money to do it right the first time, but they have the money to keep doing it over and over and over. And she was using the example of like weight loss, like Jenny Craig, like Weight Watchers. It's not about just losing a certain amount of weight. It's about cultivating daily habits, a daily
yeah,
way of life in which you're again going to be hypnotized and brainwashed by doing, so where you're not going to ever have to subscribe to another weight loss program because you're going to be incorporating health into your every single day.
yeah, yeah, and part of it is just the learning, and what I have found is that people just don't trust, and I understand that. Like, why are you trusting me right now to be on here? Well, part of it is that all the information I'm giving you, you've gone, I know this because this is covered by this and this and this and this. Like everything I'm saying, you can find on Google, people. Go to cancer.org and you can find it. That's why you'll find like the lowest cancer rate are Asian women. Why? Because they eat a lot of soy. Oh, wait, soy is bad for you. I read somewhere on someone's blog somewhere that soy was bad for you. Do not, I mean, we're on here, but blogs, be careful because then I could
Too
come up with
much, too much
Shakespeare
of
is gay.
anything can
Right,
do
I could
that.
get on a blog and say Shakespeare is gay and never wrote his own stuff. Did you hear Shakespeare's gay and he didn't write his own stuff? Well, I said it must be true. You know,
Right, and people go, "Oh my god, I saw it on the internet." I used to love those commercials, where it'd be like this really, homely looking guy. It's probably a costume, and like this supermodel woman, and he and something. It was like, "Oh, I read that you were this on the internet." It's like, "Oh, well, don't listen to the internet all the time." But like what she's saying when she's saying Google, like I have been doing this type of research obviously I've been on the health and wellness journey since my early 20s, but it was in 2005 when I ran across that documentary I was telling you about, natural cures they don't want you to know about. And I was adamantly with every ounce of my being trying to get into pharmaceutical sales, because a good friend of mine told me, "Oh, you'd be great at pharmaceutical sales. You would be," and I'd be like, and then I started researching what the job. I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And I was thinking in my mind that that was health and wellness. Viagra is going to work better if you take your cholesterol medication. Well, guys, let me tell you something. News alert, news flash. The guys advertising, the models on the Viagra commercials, are not the ones who are taking Viagra,
You know
because
what?
they most often don't need it because they're healthy.
You know what? There's a new movement on this, though, Stephanie. I will tell you that over the past few years, when you look down breakdown services on health products, like they make a lot of them are now saying you have to use this product. Like you have to use palm olive dish soap in order to be the advertiser for palm olive. A lot of them are doing that so that they can't say, well, they're just paid, So some of those Viagra guys may have a problem.
Right. But what my point is that the men, they're very well kept, that they look like they're physically fit. They're older, but
Yeah.
just because you become older doesn't mean that your dick is automatically just going to stop working and you're
Yeah.
going to need Viagra. But that's what they would lead you to believe. And my point is, like, I was trying to get on with with a company that I was going to be carrying. Viagra and Lipitor. And my presentation for one of the managers, when I was in the hiring phase, was, and I was also going to be carrying Zyrtec and Zithromax. And I had a Wrigley's, green gum for the Zyrtec. I had this bottle of Skittles, and they were dark blue and white, like they were mint type Skittles. And I can't remember what I had for the what type of candy I had for the Z-Pack. But anyway, and my presentation was, hey, if you're taking your blood pressure medication, the Viagra is going to, have an avenue to work better. But again, it wasn't until a couple years later when I adamantly, every ounce of my being, when I say every ounce of my being, I mean, like, it was like, that's what I thought I should be doing. And what kept happening is I kept not getting the offer over and over and over. And I'd be like this close. It'd be like me and one other person, like over and over. And then I did get it. I did get a job, and it was taken from me because I had too many speeding tickets at the time. And that was devastating. That was one of the worst days of my life, to have tried so hard to do something and almost succeed over and over and over, and then to succeed and then, oh, I'm sorry, we have to take that, because they do the background check afterwards after they send you the job. And we have to take that because you have too many. It was speeding. It was just speeding tickets, because I know it's hard for anybody to believe that I'm a big speeder, or used to be. I have learned my lesson. I use cruise control as my best friend. But it was like, why I would be dynamite at that type of job. I mean, and I had doctors write me letters of recommendation, like, you know, because that day I was at my good friend's house, and Kevin Trudeau's Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About came on. And I was like, it was like newsflash to me, Stephanie, you're pursuing something that's not in line with your core values. You've been taking care of yourself and been on
Mhm.
this dedicated road of health and wellness for this long. And pharmaceutical drugs, while they may be necessary in certain cases, and surgeries as well, they're not the end all be all. If you took better care of yourself and you were more mindful of how you treated your body, what you fed yourself, exercise, and what you watched, read, listened to, and who you surrounded yourself with, you wouldn't need, most oftentimes, a lot of these maintenance blood pressure. People's A1C's high because they're overweight, because they have let themselves go, and their sugar's high, and they're on Metaform, and that makes them feel like shit. Guys, this is serious. We're serious. This is serious business here. You can reverse your health by being mindful.
But you know what? This is what I said earlier too. I coach a lot of people about their time. Like when I was
Mm,
writing books, a lot of people want to know about writing books. And it's like it's part of it's a huge investment in time. And the
yeah.
time, like I'm learning to schedule time for meal planning, so I don't just go to something that's simple and easy but not the best. But it's the same thing about sometimes you have to say no to something else to say yes to what you really want. And that saying no, people hide behind as if because I truly have a sugar issue, and I don't have it, because once it's on, it's like cocaine, like give me more, 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 more. So I don't have it.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
can't. I just can't. I don't even have it in my house. But that final recognition of going, stop trying to fight what I know is a problem. This is something about willpower, Stephanie. I read this thing about willpower, and they did this experiment, and they had these different groups of people. And these two people that they put together, they gave some tests, and these two specific groups of people that had already been interviewed, and they both had a really high sugar addiction, loved cookies, that kind of thing. And they had set these cookies on specifically their table, and they said, now these are for somebody else, so you can't have these, right? um,
Mhm.
but these are for somebody else, and they had to have the willpower to leave the cookies alone. They could not function the rest of the day on their tasks because their willpower took all their energy, and they couldn't do something else. And I had never heard of it like that, because to me, I'm like, I just told my husband, look, he's really good about saying, oh, my computer thing, stop here. He's really good about saying, if you don't want it in the house, we won't have it. I have a support
Right.
team that recognizes it'd be no different by me saying I'm an alcoholic and him going, but I still like my wine. So you just have willpower and deal with it. If it's that kind of thing, people are understanding, or like, hey, I have a big meth addict and don't have it around. You just can't have it. But it's with that way with food. You have to learn your triggers. One of the best
Right.
things about my health is that I learned eating. Have you ever heard of Eat Right for Your Blood Type? I know you have.
Yes. I'm an O
I'm
positive.
I'm a B. I'm a
Yeah.
B. Well, my husband's an A, and like, oh, it sucks to be you because I can have all the cow I want, and you're like, and
Yeah.
but I've learned to balance the two. But again, we don't have it in our house, and
Right.
that's the first thing, you guys. You have to say no to this stuff. Do not have bleach and tidal pneumonia in your house. Don't even have it. I don't care if bleach reminds you of your grandmother. Don't. All those things are breaking your cells down, and if you watch the TV and their commercials, they're going to make it sound like it's okay,
But you know
right?
what? You know what, Sandy? I would like to also say that while, I'm drinking out of this plastic bottle, this Trader Joe's plastic bottle. I mean, it's not about being perfect, because being perfect is impossible. It is
Yeah.
about doing all and as much as you can. Because when I get up every morning, I mean, the first couple hours of my day, I'm drinking super greens, I'm drinking lemon water, I'm making a healthy breakfast, I'm spending quiet time in my sacred space, I'm going to the gym, 5 to 6 days per week. I'm doing things that are very intentional. So drinking out of the plastic bottle is not perfect, but I'm doing all this other really good for me and intentional stuff, to where a little bit of bad, it's not about never having wine or never having sugar,
No,
guys. We don't want to scare people, but it's
no,
about being, again, what she's talking about is being mindful, like
yeah,
being intentional and knowing, okay, if I have sugar, I know, because I'm like you, as soon as if I have, like, I'll have a cheat meal once per week, it'll make me crave, but I have the willpower the next day to be back on track. And if you're not able to get back on track, figure out the tools or figure out ways. And that's how I help my clients as well, is by helping. It's like a roadmap. We're like, we create the roadmap. We're the coaches. The coaches create the plays
mhm,
for the players to execute, for the clients to execute, that keep them on track to achieve at the end of the day what you really want and what you really
right.
desire.
But I also think that knowing yourself, like Trader Joe's, you know that I love Trader Joe's, and
Oh,
you
me
guys,
too, girl.
Trader Joe's is a very healthy place. This is when Stephanie was on. I talked about Costco. Costco's doing a really good organic. Like I get my meat from down the street, so mine's grass
Hmm.
fed. I know what's going on with my cow, right?
Exactly. Hmm.
Um, but this is the kind of thing about knowing yourself too. Like part of your health journey is like, why, when I eat an apple by itself, I want to eat my arm off the rest of the day, right? I had to learn to balance apple with a protein, a cheese. Apples and cheese are my go-to snack, but that part of it is just sitting about and asking yourself, but why? But why? Because I love wine too. But you know what? There is that whole thing about how, France has the lowest heart attacks. They have the best
Hmm.
heart health in the
Hmm.
world because they do drink wine. Wine is good for you guys. It really
Yes,
is.
yes. Not, maybe not a bottle and a half a day, but yeah.
My opinion, bottle half a day is perfect. Perfect. It makes me very happy. No, no. But you know what? And then until all of a sudden you realize you're drinking it too late, and why is some pounds adding on to me?
Right.
Got to think
Right.
about that, right? And I do have dessert. I really do. But I start the next day with some protein and I bite that craving in the butt. by doing it.
Yes.
But it takes a while, just like I had to figure out why all of a sudden am I not having, let's talk kidney health, right? I'm always walking around with a water, like this is my water bottle. Like, let's have some serious pinkness. Look at this, right?
Girl, I have the same one. I got it in New York last year. It's like a melon color, a bright melon color. Yes, I
Yeah,
had the
I
same
love
one. I should be doing
I
that. I should
really
go
like
pour
this.
this
I
in
really like
there.
this. So why in the world of all of a sudden, and I did this test and it said I drink less than a fourth of amount of water I'm supposed to drink per day. And I always have a water bottle with me. And then I realized my schedule was sipping all day. When you sip, your kidneys do not dilate and flush out all the stuff. So
Mhm.
start your day with a glass. So I just had to make a little change. I start my day with a big glass of water. I wake up, it's there from the night before, and I down it. And downing and gulping causes your kidneys to go whoop and then flush. But I
And your
had
bowels, and your bowels.
yeah, and your bowels. And so that was just one little change that I made. And I do that every morning. Nope. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll forget to have that glass there, and I'll go down and I'll try. I'm trying. I'm trying. So I gave
Mhm.
up some things, and you have to start and focus. So with you guys, if you just stop and look at every time of your schedule, and for a while, I would set alarms to remind me to do some stuff. So my phone was always going off until I finally learned those things,
Ooh. Ooh, I
right?
have, 4 times a day, I have alarms that go off on my phone. One, at 10:10, it's the universe has my back. I have, like, these positive and, the alarm goes off, it's a mental reminder,
Yeah.
spiritual reminder.
Yeah, yeah. We have one that's called Give Him 15. So we pray, and it's what we do. The alarm goes off, time to pray. My husband's so cute. My husband's so hot, you guys. He's the hottest little artist guy. He's so cute. I met him on stage in a show. He was my Uncle Stanley in a musical. That's how I met him. So I tell everybody I'm from Oklahoma and I married my Uncle Stanley.
I love it. Oh my God. My brother's name is Stanley. I have 2 brothers. One's Stanley. Oh my God. Let me tell you this. I have a brother named Will and a brother named Stanley, William and Stanley. And I dated a guy years ago. His name was William Stanley. And my mama was like, oh my God, I can't imagine like the wedding.
Oh
And
my God, that's so funny. But my husband is an artist. That's his job. He's a professional artist. He does sculptures and painting. Artists are wonderful people, but they cannot keep track of time to save their life. I mean, it's like you got to get good at one thing or the other. And so in the morning, he has 4 alarms that go off. One to get him up, one you got to go downstairs, one quit reading, one make your lunch, and then go. Otherwise, he's just focused. And I learned from that.
yeah.
I learned from that. My sister had she had become a realtor and she loved it. And in like a 2 year time period, she gained 80 pounds. And she had to go, what am I doing? And she was not eating. She didn't go all day long and not eating. And you guys, your body freaks out when you do that.
Right.
So,
It'll start to hold on to because it thinks it's
yeah,
going to starve again.
right, which is the same thing with water. You don't drink enough water, your body holds on to it because you're
Hmm.
freaking your body out. So when I used to, here's the thing, I used to train models all the time and I did design fashion shows. And always the conversation was about healthy, 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 not thin. Healthy, healthy,
Ooh.
healthy. Do you know why people actually die of anorexia? Do you know what it is?
I think I know one of the things is that it's just as hard to be that skinny on your heart as it is to be obese.
Yes, it's you're basically your body starts eating its heart to survive. Your body will do everything it can to survive. So you don't drink enough water, your body's going to hold on to it. You wonder why you're all puffy the next day. It's your
Mhm.
body going, I do not trust you. So with Deborah, I'm going to hold on this water. So Deborah wouldn't eat all day. So when she did eat, her body held on to it, going, I do not trust you. You
Right.
know how she lost 80 pounds is by setting an alarm to remind her to eat. She
Love
had to stop.
that.
I remember that conversation with her crying and going, how did I get to this point? And we started talking about it. I go, honey, you don't eat, do you? She goes, no. So not eating, you guys. You look at someone that's overweight, chances are they're just not eating. And
Right,
that's
or they're eating once a day. But I
yeah,
mean, that's why you see a lot of people who are financially challenged, like in the homeless community, and they're way overweight. It's because when they do eat, they eat something, of what they have access to is fattening, processed crap.
yeah,
And your body, and again, that also all that toxic crap builds inflammation in the body. Inflammation is what causes disease, cancer, all of the, yeah, it's all inflammation, arthritis. There's so much that if you just were, and it's not just about eating, like we're talking about super greens, lemon water, where, supplementation through Melaleuca that she's talking about. Like there's all these other supplemental ways in which you can infiltrate your body and with good stuff.
Yeah, they're also finding that there's a microbiome project research that they're now discovering that gut health and the lack of good gut health is a result of all kinds of cancers, and that Alzheimer's dementia is related to inflammation. So when 70's talking about these greens, this anti-inflammatory. So one of the things, yes, I do shop at Melaleuca, and one of the things they teach is that there's really only two reasons why people have autoimmune issues, and it's inflammation and your cells breaking down free radicals. So don't eat, do you know that don't eat tomatoes? Tomatoes are a major cause of inflammation.
Yes, they're
Yeah,
acidic and they are they're very inflammatory. And I love tomatoes. So they do have good properties, lycopene, etc., like that, vitamin C. And one of my favorite things to do is make homemade tomato juice. God, I make the best tomato juice on the planet. Um, but yeah, but you have to, again, it's not it's about moderation. Have tomatoes once. If especially if you're in an inflamed state, be
yeah,
mindful about staying away from the foods that continuously create that
yeah.
inflammation.
So research, you guys research nightshade vegetables. Where does this come from? My mom, of course, her arthritis. Was going to be in a wheelchair. They said she was arthritis when she had it in her 20s. I don't know if I said this here out loud. And she was adamant she wasn't going to be in a wheelchair by the time she was in her 30s. So she did a lot of research in the alfalfa tablets. I remember Shaklee vitamins long years ago. The big old bottles of, my house smelled like a barn all the time because you could smell alfalfa. To this day, she's 86 years old. She's an Energizer bunny and arthritis. I mean, it bothers her sometimes, but doesn't stop her. She never got crippled because she took adamant work towards anti-inflammatory, and she researched nightshade vegetables, which causes inflammation, for some for more than others. I mean, I think that's fair to say that doesn't affect everybody, but I kind of,
Absolutely.
yeah, I kind of look at it too. Animals don't eat tomatoes; it's poison to them. So I love myself a good tomato sandwich,
Hmm.
sourdough bread, tomatoes, salt and pepper.
Yeah.
That's so
Well, it's
good.
like the red wine. Red wine has the antioxidants. And before you and I went live, you and I were talking about the circles in which we run around people who are way so much younger than us that don't care for themselves. That
No,
that
and
just Yeah.
they believe what they hear. What you were just talking about, my friend, her and her husband had some really hard times. She didn't realize that he was drinking all of her money, and they ended up having to go to the dollar store to get food. It got that bad before she finally realized he was drinking himself to death. And she
Mhm.
wrote to me. She goes, not being able to afford good food is awful. White bread, processed peanut butter, sugar jelly, makes
Mhm.
me so sick, so sick.
Mhm.
She says, I did not realize what that food affected you. But here's a fun story, Stephanie. My mom has severe food allergies. You guys, some of your personality may not even be what you think it's about your food allergies. So she went through a whole bunch of testing because she is allergic to so much. I mean, so much. She's allergic to the lining of her nose. Like, how does that happen?
She's
But
wait, she's allergic to what? The of
the
her nose?
lining of her nose.
Oh, wow.
How does that even possible? But she is. And so she has severe food allergies. So she can eat corn and go like literally you see her starting to go this. She drinks root beer and it literally makes her drunk.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Drunk. And it's the funniest thing, slipping a little root beer into her stuff just to watch her turn.
That's probably the high sugar content in it as well. And we have a comment. We have Lightworker Christina Spears. Thank you so much for being here, girl. She's been commenting away, and she's talking about gluten. She talks about many people have problems with nightshade vegetables, and she also mentions our gut is our second brain.
It
Yes,
is.
sir, Bob.
So important. In fact, on this cancer prevention thing that I do, and I don't know if you have a way to ask people if they want to get involved in one of those, but I do talk about there's a whole list, this microbiome project. There's a whole list of cancers that are now related to your gut. Your gut's where your immune system is, you guys.
Hmm.
Clean
Hmm.
that baby out. Most people have 5 to 15 pounds of sludge. That's poop in your
Yes.
gut. They actually say that John Wayne died from too much, and he had 45 pounds of sludge in his gut. Because remember,
Wow.
my
Well, I'm
talking
telling you, ever since that that infomercial, more of an infomercial. I mean, like I learned, like I took my health and wellness, and like it went amplified like a rocket ship. And that's where I learned about a rebounder, bouncing up and down on a trampoline, or a rebounder.
Yeah.
Removing all the getting the interstitial fluids removed, going. And again, not locked up in our lymph nodes and our lymph glands. Learned about organic eating, mostly organic, putting in, I'd been doing super greens before, but I have been on the fast track for super greens every single day, sometimes twice a day. And I learned, so like the alfalfa that you're talking about, spirulina powder, chlorella. You
Oh,
learn the what probiotics do. I mean, there is a plethora of information out there about health and wellness and
yeah. In fact, you
what
guys,
to do.
it's farmers market season, and so
Yes.
there's big. And I'm trying to think of the name. They're the microgreens, the big flat microgreen stuff.
Yes.
Go support your farmers market and just really fall in love with those things. And I have both a Blendtec and what's the other one called? Vitamix.
Vitamin. Yes. Yes.
I love both of them.
I have a
Man,
Ninja. I have a Ninja.
yeah, they're all good. They're all good. But if you're gonna juice, get an actual juicer. Those are the
Mm.
best with the pulp and
Yes, I
everything.
have. I have the Jack LaLange.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
He's so cute.
I think we all need to wear onesies and work out like that again. I
Oh
think
my
so.
God.
You
Yeah.
need to do that. Start a new thing. Onesie working out. Onesie working out.
Yeah. So, you know, t just, like, share everybody, like, what just your personal experience, like, what this has done for your body, your life, and, like, the energy that you have, and like I said, before we came on, we were talking about the circles in which we run around, people who are 20, 30 years old who don't care for themselves.
Well, let me just tell you that my whole health journey I don't talk a lot about because, first of all, only my mom cares, right? But I had
Honey, I care, and everybody that's watching cares.
so this part you guys are going to really appreciate. I had three babies in a row. Bam, bam, bam. I have four boys, 3 in 3 years. I mean, you got to have a hobby. My last two
I'll
were
have some
11
kids,
pounds.
yeah.
Yeah, my last two were 11 pounds. And I had a husband at that time who wasn't really helping and supporting me. And I ate my emotions and trying to stay awake and take care of three babies, three in car seats, three in high chairs, three. It
Wow.
was ridiculous. And then my fourth kid was helping, and my parents, I gained 100 pounds. And then I lost 100 pounds on Atkins. Worst thing for me. Bad for your kidneys
We've all
because
been on the Atkins, we've all been on that. Now it's
then
called keto.
once you start eating your carbs back, your body goes, ooh, carbs. Remember me talking about freaking out? Ooh, carbs. I started eating and doing whatever. And through time and stress and some other stuff, stress eating, I gained it back. So then I became a gym rat. Gym rat. Love go to the gym. Love it, love it, love it. I can power through an elliptical like you won't believe. I'm a killer on a. And then because I was working out so much and not really, I was sipping my water. I would swear I was drinking a lot, but literally I started down the path of having 5 kidney surgeries. My first kidney stone was the size of my hand. I had to have emergency. I had to have surgery. I have it taken out of my back. I had drainage tubes on. I was almost septic. I had kidney infection and urinary tract infection, all this. And I had to stop and go, why do I keep getting these? And part of it is learning about, your bladder dilating and all this other stuff, and how distilled water, you guys get a jug of distilled water every now and then and drink it to help just flush out. Because your water can have a lot of mineral content, which was one of
Mhm.
my problems. I have a well, we have a ton of mineral, and with me sipping, it was just gathering in my kidney. So then with all that, me not being able to go to the gym, I went into hormone disruption.
Ooh.
You guys, when you don't have testosterone, you are so sad. I was so sad. I was awful.
Yeah.
And so with all that, me sitting there, hormone disruptor, having to build myself back, is the time when I started looking at what is my journey. And my journey is with the idea that it was good for me, and I've learned balance. I'm losing, so I had gained another 50 pounds. I'm taking that off, but my thyroid doesn't work really well. It is healing. Macadamia nut, no, not macadamia, hazelnut. Not a hazelnut. Oh my God. What are those big ones that are the size of
Oh,
hazelnut?
oh gosh,
Yeah,
the
A diamonds.
planters, mixed nuts, they're called Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts, one
Yeah.
a day, one a day now. My homeopathic doctor has been amazing about going. But the journey is, I thought, again, I thought I was doing the right thing. I
Mhm.
thought I was doing the right thing, but that going back to the very beginning of gaining 100 pounds after having 3 kids, my last two were 11 pounds, guys, 11 pounds.
Wow.
They were big. They were born super healthy because I'm 5'9". I can carry a 11-pound baby. Um, but that journey of weight up, weight down, weight up, weight down,
Mhm.
trying to lose it, going to the gym, not drinking enough water, really abusing my body, that was my focus of going, what am I doing? Because I think I'm doing the right thing. And everything that you talk about, Stephanie, about the microgreens and healthy food, that's what I've had to learn. I've had to learn that on my own, I'm not really doing a good job. I need help.
Mhm.
Lots of research. And then my dad went through cancer. My grandma went through cancer. And I started working with a cancer organization in Spokane. And that education about cellular health and inflammation and what triggers food and what doesn't. And why did I get, again, this is the reason I had adrenal failure is from stress.
Yes.
Having
Yes.
kidney surgeries, not being able to work my own business, the stress. And I will tell you, I lacked faith in what I was doing. I lacked faith that God was going to take care of me. I lacked faith in what I was doing. My husband and I didn't do well. We separated for a couple of years, actually.
Wow.
People don't know that about my life. We separated because of the stress of I was $150,000 in debt from medical bills. It was stress beyond my belief.
Yeah.
But the recovery of that, the recovery of learning, what food does to you, learning about what your environment does for you, learning about your health. Like I make myself go to bed. I turn my phone off.
Mhm.
There was a study from Oklahoma State University, which is where I went, and the coach there said we got to get better performance out of our players. And so what he said was, we're going to make everybody go to bed. And an hour before they go to bed, no TV, no cell phone, put on yellow glasses to stop all the blue light because blue light stimulates the brain.
Yes. Yes.
Reduce your heat to 65 degrees, wear some weighted blankets. And not only did their performance in school go up, their performance on the field went up, and their injuries went down 100% of the players.
I believe it. I 100, and there's also, I know on iPhones, and I'm pretty sure on most smartphones, there is that blue light app. It's not an app, I'm sorry. It's a setting on your phone that is set a certain time when the sun goes down, it changes your screen to an orange, so you're not getting that blue light. And
I did not know that. I'm going to look that up. Blue light
yes, yes.
setting.
Yeah, it's a setting. Do you have a Droid or do you have a iPhone?
I have a droid.
Well, I'm sure that there's a setting. It's been something that I've had access to for about 4 or 5 years now. If it, like, it would be in your settings, and it's let me see. Let me just go into mine here because I know they all got it. So it would be in display and brightness on mine, and it's called night shift. So from 9 p.m. until 7 a.m. it goes into night shift. And let me see if it'll do something if I click it on. Hold on. Probably, I'm
I'm
try.
scowling at your screen. This is such a bad view for me. Okay, I see you.
So it's called night shift on mine. Okay, so more. Okay, let me just see. I'm gonna turn it on. Let's see, what time is it? I'm gonna turn it on at 1. Ah, see, it just changed.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh,
just
look at
changed
that.
to it's like orange.
Yeah.
It's like an orange, but it like completely takes away all the blue light.
That is very cool. Oh yeah, there we go. I've got one too. It's called adaptive brightness.
There you go, girl. You
You
learned
just
something
taught
today
me
on
something
empowered
new. You
conversations.
taught me something new.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. No, we're not doing that. Hold on. Um, yeah, girl. I have to put it back to where it
I know.
was.
And they're going, I got to turn my thing back off.
Yeah, we're all if people are just jumping on, they're like, "What the hell are they doing on their cell phones?"
I know. I
I thought
know.
this was an empowered conversation.
Yeah, I know. I
Um,
know.
so yeah, but golly, like there is just an over exorbitant amount of things and stuff. I mean, and do what is resonates with you. Do what, is in alignment with what you and anything that you're going to do that's outside of the box that you're holding yourself within is going to be it's going to seem uncomfortable, but feel the uncomfortableness and do it anyway
Oh
because
yeah.
of the reality that's going to be received by you making this different choice.
And you guys, this is the one thing that I teach on the cancer prevention workshop is that it literally does take 100 little things. When I lost the second amount of weight that I lost, I went to the gym, but I also, this is what I was talking about, knowing apples and protein with me. It's 100 little things. Like I don't order a full menu at the store, at the restaurant. My husband and I split a meal.
Hmm.
Never order the full thing. Or if I want something, he wants something different, I immediately take half of it and put it in a to-go box. It's 100 little things that you have to do, like changing your life to go to bed. What do you need to
Hmm.
say? I liked, and this is the moment you have to be real with yourself. When I hear people say, but I like to watch the news or whatever,
Oh, stay away from the news.
I know, right? You talk about mental health, the news is going to make you go insane. But not only that, you're making that entertainment more important to longevity and staying healthy. I mean, I
Mhm.
had to really look at some of those things throughout my schedule of going adrenal failure and thyroid, and my thyroid is healing, you guys, by the way. I've incorporated the Brazil nuts. I incorporate seaweed because it's a natural form of iodine. Of course, the vitamins that I'm on, going to
Yes.
bed and get to sleep, helping you with sleep aids and stuff like that that are natural. But it really is taking a look at your life and going, and here's what I've learned too, Stephanie, is that some people don't realize that they aren't as feeling as good as they could be.
Exactly.
So they think it's all okay, but
Well,
trust.
I've been feeling this way for a long time. I just figured attribute it with getting older or
Yeah,
something.
no, you don't have to feel bad. I like you and I were
Mhm.
saying before this start, we girls, I just turned 60. I can run circles around you all day long.
I believe it.
And it's, part of it is, but it is self-reflective on what do I need to do daily, hourly, what is the best thing for me. Oklahoma farm girl here. Here's another thing. Beforehand, I think we're talking about the spinach. It would take 80 bowls of spinach to equal what one bowl of spinach did
Yeah.
50 years
Yeah.
ago. 50 years ago, your tomatoes had 600 IUs of vitamin E. Now they have 60. Now that's playing with us. That's
And the
playing.
soil is because the soil has been depleted from over farming and yeah.
Oh, hey, have you heard of hydroponics?
Oh, gotcha. Hmm.
I have one in my house. I have a little hydroponic system, so I grow my own basil and lettuce and thyme now, and I have some chives
Hmm.
in there. You talk about fun. Going,
Yes.
I love basil, man. I can make basil stuff, everything. I love basil, but that's the kind of thing that just a lot of little stuff that you can do because just because it's at the grocery store doesn't mean it's really necessarily healthy for you. So be smart about those things.
Absolutely. I'm growing basil and I have fresh mint and then I have a tomato garden. Y'all, I love tomato juice. And I
Your
have some
tomato
peppers.
garden.
Yeah, I got some peppers growing and this year I've got 4 tomato plants and I've got 2 pepper plants. But yeah, like just starting a garden. I mean, and doing that with your kids and when you're cooking with your kids, when you're doing this good stuff with your kids. How old are your children now? Oh, I
They're
guess they're not
they're
children.
babies. They're 27, 28,
Oh,
29.
okay, yeah, yeah, okay, okay, so they're not like yeah, they're not like teenagers, but did you when your children were growing up and you were learning on, about, like, the cancer that your relatives were experiencing, were you also with your children, like, cooking and doing things?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was one of my baby's clothes. So in the very beginning, I'd sit them on the kitchen counter with a spoon. See, the guy's parents, it's okay for your house to get messy as long as the kids are learning. Like having a B and B, I've had people come in here and go, "How do you take care of this house?" I said, "Well, I raised 4 boys here. They did this too. You have to teach them, like, otherwise they're useless. The women are going to look at me later and go, 'Why didn't you do something?'" So all my kids cook tremendously well. In fact, one of them went to culinary school.
Ooh, love
Um,
it.
so they grew up learning, let's go work out in the garden, let's do this. And of course, it's like, Mom, I'm like, oh, that attitude's not bothering me. You got to learn some skills. And now they're amazing cooks. One of them is kind of like, but the other ones have really embraced it about healthy eating and good nutrition and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
because I'm mom, Of course, I don't always resonate and I don't always know as much as other strangers off the street because I'm mom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
same time, you can say, look, I'm this hot because I work on it. You know, you want to be this hot when you're 60? Come on.
Hell,
Let's work
hell
on it.
fucking A, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all. It
My
ain't
young,
luck. It ain't luck. I mean,
I
yeah,
know.
some of it's genetic, some of it is, but I mean, it's called I choose. I
Yeah.
make a choice. I do this. This is what I do. It's like, oh, you're lucky. No, it is not luck. It is
Oh,
called. It is making a concerted effort. And I would. You were talking about adrenal fatigue, because I had mono back in college. My organic chemistry lab partner, she was a volleyball player, and she had gotten mono from one of the players, and then I got mono from her. And y'all, my immune system was weakened from doses of corticosteroids that I was in for neck and back pain due to a very minor car accident that I was in. And so my immune system got depleted from the corticosteroids. So I developed the mono. And that's something, it's a virus that, that stays, latent or dormant. What what are those two words in your system? But it can flare up, and it flares up for me with lethargy and fatigue. If like I overdo something, or if I get really, really upset. Over like a specific situation for a long period of time, it can trigger that lethargy and fatigue. Well, I've been taking like ashwagandha, holy basil. It's like called adrenal or stress adrenals, but there's so many adaptogenic herbs and supplements that, and I know Melaleuca sells a whole host of phenomenal products that are in line with bringing the body to that alkaline ultimate healthy state. Do you want to
yeah.
talk about that? Share.
Yeah, yeah. So I do shop at Melaleuca, and I loved him so much I started working there too. But what they have found is that the problem with what you find on the market as far as supplements and stuff is that they don't absorb. Your body, when you eat fruits and vegetables, your body's designed to absorb those minerals, but in a pill form, you're going to pee out most of that. And so one of the reasons I found Melaleuca is because I had just gone to a homeopathic doctor after again losing the weight and gaining back on Wymet, and she did this seminar called "Are Your Vitamins Making You Fat?"
That's
And
hilarious.
right before I found Melaleuca, and it was about that these vitamins have partial vitamins or they're highly synthetic, and your body's reacting to the synthetic, and your fat cells are holding on to them. I mean, you guys, pesticides gather in your fat cells. I
Hmm.
mean, we all have fat cells. There's nobody walking around
Yeah.
that's just alone, right?
Right.
And that's who we are. But pesticides that are on these products, like coffee and kale, are the two crops that have the most pesticides on them. And I just found out that about kale because I eat a lot of kale. I love kale, so I'm washing it more now.
Yes.
I drink Melaleuca coffee because there's no pesticides. It's all
Hmm.
organic. Organic, you guys. And this is the other thing. Organic can be more expensive, but Melaleuca is about saving you money. But with their vitamin line, they have something called Oligo, which surrounds the vitamins, which makes your body absorb it. So it's the highest absorption, and that has been why my eyesight's improved 5 times. My cholesterol's down, triglycerides are down, my whole health markers are amazing, and I keep testing it every year just to see where are they, and they keep improving because I came from such a which all started with the Atkins diet, which all started with the babies, right? Just the
Hmm.
bam, 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 and bad stuff along the way. But it's under control, and I have come from one place that's amazing. But I'm a firm believer stay away from Costco stuff, vitamins, because they're synthetic. They are not absorbing, and it is about absorption rate. So whatever you're taking, as for the white sheets that allow you to see the science behind them, because Melaleuca allows that to happen, and it's all about absorption. It really is about absorption. If you're going to do anything, make it absorb. That's why cancer.org suggests you take a digestive aid
Hmm.
to make sure if you do eat anything, it really is absorbing. And Meligo has an amazing digestive aid because you need all the nutrition that you can to keep your cells happy. You know, they talk about keeping your gut clean.
Hmm.
Cancer.org does. So Melaleuca has something called FiberWise, which keeps your gut clean, keeps it washed out, it's healthier. So because of my search for the truth stemming from my own issues, like Metamucil versus Miralax versus what Melaleuca has as FiberWise, Miralax is a chemical reaction.
Hmm.
Chemical reaction. Why would you do that to yourself? Yet that's what some
Hmm.
doctors suggest that you do. So it's all about what you really can bring into your body. So that's why I choose to work there and eat there.
Real quick, you mentioned something. You said that there was a Lego around the molecules of the vitamins that help you absorb the vitamins more. Did I hear you correct? A Lego?
Melaleuca has 50 scientists that work for them. That's why I really appreciate, because and then every single product that they had goes to a third party testing facility. So if they have the product, they know that it works better against their competitors. So there's scientists that how are we going to make our body recognize this pill as a food source? So they invented something called illegal fructose, which surrounds the mineral. So when you swallow it, your body absorbs that because they're thinking that it's food.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay,
why
that makes sense.
yeah. So
I'd never heard of that.
it is an amazing thing. You want to hear a blonde moment?
I do,
Mm.
girl. I want to hear a
So,
blonde with a little bit of red thrown in. I want to
yeah,
hear that.
little blonde moment. You can see I'm not really blonde, but whatever. I was for years and years and years, and then I started having babies. How come I can't figure out my hair here? Okay,
I
here we
do.
go.
I know. I'm like, I do that too. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm
So,
like,
so when
oh,
I was pregnant, I was blonde and blonde and blonde for many, many years. And then when the pregnancy hormones kicked in, my hair turned into the what in the well. Anyway, so I started taking my local vitamins, and I take what's called peak performance. It's head to toe synergistically. It's eye health, heart health, brain health, everything, and I noticed my numbers started changing. I'm like, this is good stuff. And then I had all this energy, like, ah. Well, after a year, I went to my eye doctor, and he goes, your eyes have improved. What are you doing? I'm going, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been wearing glasses since I was 13. I don't know. Next year I went back, and he goes, your eyes have improved again. What are you doing? I'm going, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Third year I'm there. And I'm sitting in the lobby, and I look down. I'm like, oh, I'm going to take my vitamins. And I look down, and I'm reading and there's something on the label that says NutriView. It's for eye health. I've been taking something for my eye health, and I didn't even remember that I was doing it. I'm like,
wow.
I'm blonde. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
That is so what type of hair coloring do you use? Because I know there's all kinds. I use a natural. There's still some ammonia in it, but it's one I get from Whole Foods. But do you have suggestions of even a better, more natural hair color out there?
I do not know the name of it, but I do know that my hairstylist is using an organic natural one. And so, but also what Melaleuca does have too is they have a detoxifying wash. So if you're going blonde, the
Uh-huh.
problem is blonde hair tends to absorb minerals, and this detoxifying breaks all the mineral content, so my hair doesn't turn literally orange. If your hair is blonde and is kind of going down that yellow pack, it means that your body, because minerals are little crystals and they hold on to it,
Right.
right? And so this detoxifying wash breaks down either the shampoo that you're using. Now, like when women are starting to get hair loss, part of what I do is say, let's detoxify yourself first, because if you're using and been using the same shampoo for 20 years or 10 years or even 1 year, it builds up.
Mhm.
This breaks down that. And if you have water that is high in mineral content, that can lead to kidney issues, all kinds of stuff. It also builds up on your hair. So that is always good to have as a detoxifying wash. And why I like Melaleuca stuff is because I know it's non-toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you I don't think you can do it in the comments because it'll go to YouTube. That's why I've refrained from doing comments because then once I'm off the YouTube live that the comments are gone. Is can you provide like after the broadcast is done, can you come back on and put links to Melaleuca or links to how to, get in touch with you
Yeah.
in the chat or in the post?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
So should I do it now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you do it now, if you post a comment now, it'll go to YouTube. And then because we're live on YouTube, it will, once the live is over, the comment's gone. It's like Instagram, which makes no freaking sense to me. Um, you know, uh, why comments go away. I know Facebook Lives comments stay, but these comments here on this broadcast go to YouTube. But
Hmm.
when we're done, if you could come back and find, like, there's D for Rick and let's just say a new group. There's my personal page. If you could come back and put comments there, and I mean,
Yeah.
you could go to YouTube and put comments in the video, and I will as well. Once I get everything uploaded, I'll share everything as well.
Yeah. I will do that. And that way you guys can reach out to me directly, and I can help guide you, especially so if you're having thyroid issues, if you're having weight issues. Meluka has a weight plan that I like that's all about anti-inflammatory and glucose stabilization. So keeping your blood, and it's a yes and no list. If you are tired, if you're wanting to know about hair loss, they have a makeup line. I am a professional makeup artist, and I love their line of stuff too. But also, we'll talk to you about Trader Joe's is amazing too. Trader Joe's
Oh, yeah.
line. They carry stuff that's not necessarily just theirs, but their line, they're so good. Costco's been
Mm,
good about the organic stuff too. They're starting to make their packages smaller so that you don't have to buy like 3 big bats of, cauliflower rice. You can make them small.
right. Yeah, exactly.
You guys also find thermal imaging. Find it, Google it in your local area. Your insurance, unfortunately, doesn't pay for it in most states. So there's a few that they do, and I don't remember that. I know of two, I think. But it is certainly worse just to see where your breast health is, your body health, because you'll start to see if you just even have too much estrogen. So when I did, and you talked about the trampoline, right?
Hmm.
That's the best way. And they also suggest hot and cold therapy. So what I do is you take a
Hmm.
hot shower, then you hit your body with cold water, your head, your arms, your chest, your back, your legs, and then hot again, and then do it again. Now, in the wintertime, I cannot do it. It's too cold. I'm going, bad mood. I hate you. I hate life. Ah, you suck. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Um, but in the summertime, I can handle it. But
Yeah.
the jumping on the trampoline is something that we encourage people to do too, because of all your glands that have no circulatory system in there. But it'll help flush your body of too much estrogen.
Yes. Flush your
Yeah,
body of.
so, yeah, all that kind
Absolutely.
of stuff is important. It's all we all have to work really hard. We're not designed to die at 60, you guys. We're just really not.
No. And 100%. This has been such an empowered conversation faux show. I
This
just
is
love
the
having I could
fun.
we
We
could
should do
sit
this
here.
tomorrow.
What?
We should do this again tomorrow. Just
Oh,
bring
God,
up.
yeah, yeah. Girl, I could sit here for 2 or 3 more hours and talk about this stuff because we didn't even touch on, like, mammograms and how they attribute and cause cancer. We won't go there today,
Here's
but
one thing we'll say on that though. You have to have cancer for a mammogram to work.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You
We all actually have cancer cells in our body, but where
every
they turn into inflamed, full-blown cancer to where you're having them to do something to kill it, is again dependent upon the health and the health of your body. Because
yeah,
again, like she said over and over, our bodies are designed to heal itself.
yeah, they are. Yeah,
And
they are.
I mean, I know that there are certain abnormalities that people are born with. We're not talking about that. We're talking about somebody who chooses to eat fast food, chooses to throw something in the microwave, chooses to do this, chooses to smoke, chooses, just to allow that just abuse of their bodies. And now they're on all kinds of pharmaceutical drugs. I always like to throw this plug in there. You can either invest in yourself and in your health, or you can pay the doctor. Either way, it's expensive. Either way, or maybe not expensive is the right word. Either way, it's going to cost you monetarily.
Yeah,
No, not everybody who eats fast food and junk has to be on high blood pressure, cholesterol medication. But the majority of people who abuse their bodies over and over with that kind of food consistently and predominantly do have health problems that require the assistance of pharmaceutical drugs, surgeries,
we do.
etc., as well as a lack of lifestyle, a lack of quality of life.
Yeah, I think it's important too when you said that. The people that have been the hardest for me to talk to have been my aunts and uncles, because
Yeah.
they're farm people, and honey, we eat good all the time. We're doing fine. Like, yeah, you just had biscuits and gravy and bacon. What you're raised with, sometimes you have to break out of what you're raised with, because there are less genetic problems than what people think. But they think, oh, my aunt had high blood pressure, so I have high blood pressure. No, the
Right.
way that you're taught to eat is causing that. The
Thank you.
way you are, I mean, that you learn that behavior. A lot of our health issues are learned behavior. You
Yeah.
take a moment to take every little moment of your time and go, is this the best choice for me? And I love, Stephanie, that you said, love yourself, take care of yourself. Don't just assume that this is the way that you're raised, and breaking out of those molds is really hard, but it takes wanting and caring. And I hope that most of you guys here today start caring about you and what you do and what you drink. And I mean, yeah, I'm still going to have cake, and I love wine, and I love my cookies and stew, but I also love kale.
Me
Kale,
too.
because I live in the Pacific Northwest, so we get some salmon. Ooh, we got salmon here. Oh, and I got to
My
get, yeah, your book is
Oh my
amazing.
god, my very first Defa Rickenlicious episode was a kale salad. I just put my iPhone, propped it up, hit record. I had like 1,700 views in 24 hours. Everybody was laughing. All my friends were carrying on. That's how Defa Rickenlicious started. But y'all, you got to get my Defa Rickenlicious cookbook. It's filled with healthy, scrumptiously delicious, food, dishes, all kinds. And I got to plug in my cooking class that I'm starting on June 6th. Guys,
I
it's
was
going to be
just going
so
to
much
say,
fun.
I was just going to say, you have a cooking class. I want to get onto that. So talk about that
Yes.
for a minute. What is that?
Yes. So it starts on June 6th. It's going to be every Monday evening. It's going to be a Zoom, and it's going to be very interactive. So while we are cooking from your kitchen to my kitchen, I'll choose a recipe. Most of them will be out of the Deepa Rickenlicious cookbook. But
Mm,
I come up with just great stuff all the time. I need to do a whole nother cookbook. And so they'll get you will get a hardcover copy of Deepa Rickenlicious cookbook. And if you already got a copy, because a lot of people do, then you can gift that to a friend. But it'll be like, if as we're cooking, you ask questions. The person who participates the most, whether it's questions or comments or talking during the broadcast, you're going to get the Goobalicious Award. It's going to be,
I'm
one
on
per
it. I'm
person.
on it. I'm on
And
it.
yeah,
I'm
girl,
on it.
and
I'm
that's
on
going to be
it.
a health coach session with yours truly. I'm a worthiness coach, health coach. So it could be a conglomeration of the coaching session. And let's see what else. I mean, but guys, think about it. Think about it. If you, and also, and I want some feedback. I want some feedback prior to when the class starts. If you were going to take a cooking class, all about learning how to make healthy food delicious, what would you want to know? What questions would you have? Let me know, and I can incorporate that into the class. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
That's going to be fun. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Hell yeah, girl. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, Sandy, thank you so much. This has just been incredible, so riveting and elatedly exciting.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
inviting me to be here. This was just so much fun. This is so much fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was about to jump through the screen that night I met you. During the Zoom call, I was like, "Oh my God, this girl's got to be on my podcast. She's got to come on. She's got to come on." Oh, and I'm going to have you on D for Rick and Licious Conversations as well. That's something I do once a month, where I have a guest like yourself, and we make something. The guest gets to choose the recipe out of the cookbook, and and we make it, but we have an empowered. So it's a conglomeration of empowered conversations and my D for Rick and Licious cooking show. We're making healthy food, but we're having a stimulating and empowering, inspirational type conversation.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. I love to cook. I love to cook. That'd
Yeah.
be so much fun.
Well, cool. Well, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. You stay right here. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for all those that have been here today commenting. Remember, Sandy's going to have a link she's going to post under the broadcasts in all three places of how you can reach out to her, ask questions, work with her. And till next week, have a phenomenal frickin' week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.